and today we're doing a request from Cobra Scarlet 95. They wanted to hear my thoughts on a project that's been discussed, debated, and often lamented in our community, the unreleased 1994 American Godzilla film. Now, for those who might be newer to the Godzilla fandom, or perhaps haven't delved too deep into the what-ifs of kaiju cinema, let's set the stage. Back in the early 90s, after the success of films like Jurassic Park, Hollywood was eager to bring Godzilla back to the big screen in a big way. TriStar Pictures acquired the rights, and a production helmed by director Jan de Bont, I might have messed up his name, my apologies, who did Speed, Twister, those kind of movies, was in the works. This wasn't just going to be a direct adaptation of a Japanese film, however. The aim was to create a distinctly American Godzilla experience. The folks over at Wikizilla have a fantastic deep dive into this project, and I pretty much used their article to help me with my script here. And it's a rabbit hole of intriguing ideas and ultimately what could have been. The script involved a new origin for Godzilla, tying him to dinosaur DNA and a radioactive event. He was envisioned as a faster, more agile creature and was set to face off against a new monster called the Griffin, a creature with a rather unique and, dare I say, somewhat terrifying design. Now, with this video, I am not going to go over the history of this, as you can find this topic being discussed on many wikis and forums, and other videos have done it way better than I could ever. But I wanted to give you my honest opinion on this whole endeavor based on what we know, and also so that I can honor this request. And honestly, while the idea of a big budget American Godzilla in the 90s sounds exciting on paper, my gut reaction to the idea of a truly Americanized Godzilla, well, it's not really great. Look at what eventually happened with the 1998 film. While it has its defenders, including me, many fans, and again, myself included, felt it missed the core of what makes Godzilla, Godzilla. It lacked that spirit, that weight, that connection to its Japanese origins and the themes it often represents. The success of the 2014 MonsterVerse film, in my opinion, lies in its respect for that Japanese side of the character. It wasn't afraid to embrace the history while injecting modern American movie magic and storytelling. It's a delicate balance, and a purely American-centric approach just doesn't sit right with me for this particular icon. One of the key aspects of de Bont's vision was a faster, more agile Godzilla. And you know what? On the surface, that's a neat idea. We've even seen glimpses of that in later Godzilla iterations. Of course, Zilla 98 to a certain extent, but also the incredibly acrobatic Godzilla in Final Wars. However, and this is a big however, if Godzilla is going to be faster, he still needs to feel like a tank. He can't just become a giant lizard that zips around without any sense of immense power. Think of the modern MonsterVerse Godzilla, especially the evolved Goji that we've seen in the New Empire. He's shown incredible agility and speed, but you never doubt his raw power and resilience. He's fast and a tank, not fast and weak. That balance is crucial. Then there's the Griffin. Looking at the concept art, it's definitely a unique, interesting design. It's not your typical giant monster, and honestly, I think seeing Godzilla go up against something like that could have been visually really cool. In my mind, I picture the fights playing out somewhat similarly to the aerial battles with the Flying Muto in the 2014 film. That dynamic of a ground-based behemoth facing off against a powerful aerial threat has a lot of potential for exciting and innovative action sequences. Now, the article makes it clear that budgetary limitations played a significant role in this film ultimately being shelved. And unfortunately, that's a story we've all heard too often in the world of giant monster movies. Budgetary issues seem to be the persistent plague that can derail even the most promising projects. It's been a recurring problem for Toho themselves, often dictating when they have to wrap up entire eras of Godzilla films. It's frustrating because budget constraints can directly impact the creativity, the visual scale, and the overall ambition of these films. However, and this is an important point, budget limitations aren't always a death sentence for a film. Look at Godzilla Minus One. Made on a relatively small budget, it's arguably one of the best kaiju films ever made. So while the budget was likely a major factor in the 94's film demise, it doesn't automatically mean the film would have been bad. And I have to admit, I'm not the most knowledgeable when it comes to unreleased or canceled Godzilla films, but I definitely understand why they've become such a huge talking point within the fandom. I think it all boils down to what could have been. These projects represent unrealized potential, different paths the franchise could have taken. The 94 film, with its American director, its unique take on Godzilla's origins, and that wild Griffin design, holds a particular fascination because it was so close to happening and represented such a significant departure from what we were used to. It's a glimpse into an alternate Godzilla universe, and that's always going to pique our curiosity. So those are my honest thoughts of the unreleased 1994 American Godzilla film. It's a fascinating what-if scenario though, and one that continues to spark debate and discussion among us fans. I want to thank Cobra Scarlet 95 for the request again. And what do you guys think about the unreleased 94 Godzilla film? Let me know your opinions down in the comments below. I'm always curious to hear your perspectives. And that's it for me. And as always, stay big, G fans.